friends.
Hi, friends.
Alright, so you did all of this work to get these beautiful braids. Now how do you keep them looking nice when you sleep? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to keep your braids looking good for at least a week. So here at Curly Mckee, we do all things curly hair. We try different products, we do different hairstyles. So if you want to see more videos like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up.
If you don't like it, thumbs down.
Right. So in full transparency, her braids don't look great right now. These are a little over a week old and we got hit by the flu really bad this week. So I haven't been taking great care of her hair and we've been doing a lot of resting and recovery. So in last week's video, we did these 4 braids. So if you want to watch that video, the link will be in the description box below. Since then, I've added some beads to them for Valentine's Day, even though we're locked up for Valentine's Day because everybody's sick. So the first thing that you need, definitely, and this goes if you have braids or not, is a satin cap. So this is a satin cap we use. So Roan sleeps with a satin cap every night, regardless of if she has braids or not. And the reason for that is cotton pillowcases, they suck up moisture. And so silk or satin cap or scarf or things like that won't do that. Keeping braids for longer, it's even more important to use it, but she sleeps in a satin cap every night. The thing that we use to keep her braids all week is a mousse. So I really like this Not Your Mother's Curl Talk mousse. That's one we've currently been using. And so what I do is I just shake it and get some mousse, and I use quite a bit. And I just rub it, starting on the braids, starting on her scalp, and then moving all the way down. And really...
And my hair really loves the mousse. Why?
And then you get on the braids as well. And so just kind of pat that in. It doesn't have to be like all the way absorbed because it's just going to absorb overnight. So as soon as the mousse is in, that's when we put the satin cap on. And then she goes to sleep. And so what that's going to do is just add in moisture that the braids lost throughout the day. I'd love to hear your favorite type of mousse. This is the one that we use most often, but I'd love if you would leave a comment down below of the favorite type of mousse that you have used.
Oh.
We use a satin cap. You can also use a satin pillowcase. She rolls around into her, all different places of her bed throughout the night, so we would have to do the whole bed in satin. So we just like the satin cap. You can also use a scarf if you like a scarf. I haven't found those to stay really well in her hair. They just kind of slip off. Maybe I just don't have the right scarf, but that's another option if you like to use a scarf instead of a cap. So another thing that we do is we add an oil. So I like this oil. It's a Cantu tea tree and jojoba hair and scalp oil. So what's nice with this one is it is specifically for the scalp as well. And so you can really get into the sections of the braids and add this oil throughout the week. Her hair is low porosity, so it's not going to necessarily absorb the oil. So it's really just to add shine. It is nice to add moisture into the scalp. But if you have high porosity hair, then maybe your hair will absorb some of that oil that you put it on. So another tip for keeping braids that last throughout the week that I mentioned in my last video is during the braiding process, I've noticed a huge difference in doing this, since doing this step with her braids, is adding in a gel. So this is the gel that we added when I did these braids, and it makes a huge difference in keeping the braids for a longer period of time. You just put so much work into doing these braids. You want to keep them as long as you can. And so adding that gel just really tightens up those braids so you really can keep those braids for a week or 2 weeks or however long your hair can handle it. And the last tip that I would say is don't be afraid to redo the braids that are off the scalp throughout the week. So this is how we sleep with them, but as you can see, these part of the braids, especially with the curly hair being different lengths, they're going to start to come out. And so with beads, it's a little bit more difficult. It takes a little bit more time, but it really only takes a couple minutes to redo this section, and that keeps it looking nicer for longer throughout the week. And so you can just, ow, grab, your water bottle and some leave-in conditioner or a hair milk, and just take out this section of the braid, redo it, add the rubber bands. It'll just give more longevity to this hairstyle. So now you know how to sleep with your braids, and you can keep them all week. So if you haven't watched last week's video on how I got the braids, the link is down below. I also have another video on how to add beads to your braids. I will link that down below as well. So next week what we're going to talk about is laying edges. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on the videos we put out every week on curly hair. And if you like this video, if you learned anything from it, hit that like button, give it a thumbs up.
If you didn't like anything like it, don't press that button, and we'll watch that. Thank you.
And we will see you next week when we're talking all about edges. Bye. Blah, blah, blah. She sleeps.
Why did you do blah, blah, blah?
Because I messed up.
Are you talking to me or the camera?
The camera. Right, baby?
No.
Really? So now I know how blah 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 blah.
Why did you do blah blah blah?
You know.
Because you messed it up.